Welcome back to this third and final training session. It is the one you have been waiting so patiently for. It's the bit where we start to make some real change happen and have a plan in place to help you succeed. I'm so excited for you, but before we do, let's just recap on what we covered in the previous session. We took a little look deeper into the concept of what it takes to run your world and what they mean and how they affect your life, why these blocks are so important to identify, like the bridge, and which ones you're already nailing. We also found which ones are really holding you back from thriving and that you might be struggling with. Now, I know what you're thinking. Lisa, this is a lot of things to run and work through, but let me explain the goals here. Your goal is to get so good at these skills that your world can run them on their own, on autopilot. You can enjoy the fruits of your labor. I'm talking about automating your world in a way. To do this, we don't have to be perfect and we don't have to have high expectations because then we'll fail and beat ourselves up about it. We're just going to do one step at a time. Have you ever made a plan where it's just way too much? I'm not saying it's not possible, but you just kind of knew that there's so much to do on top of other things and you're just trying to handle everything all at once. Mine went a bit like this. 5 a.m. yoga meditation, 5:30 a.m. healthy breakfast, 6 a.m. go to the gym, 7 a.m. drink 1 liter of water with 1 fresh lemon, and off to out the gates. And I was nailing it, feeling good. I sustain it for a couple of weeks and then something comes up. Someone's sick, something's happened, and it gets missed. And I'm back to square one. I don't pick it back up again. And the truth is, there's just too much passion and not enough purpose behind it. You're doing what you feel you should be doing, following the trends. When you're serious about making a plan for change, you should focus on just one thing and do that one thing over and over until it's a new habit and you've mastered it. The problem is that we're a little bit impatient creatures and we want it all now. But mastery doesn't work like that. It happens slowly over time. Look to professionals and see this is true. They focus on one small skill over and over and over until they've mastered it. And they don't move on to the next until they've reached that goal. They're still always focused on the big skill, but they break it down. And they don't feel like it's a chore because they love what they do. Remember number 8 of the wheel? It needs to have purpose to it. You need to care about the outcome. So let's get into some training. Turn to page 9 of your workbook and you will see the cycle of change. This diagram is how I allow all the time I have to create and change a habit. In order to be successful, you need to see it as one, an exploration. It's time to get curious. Try different things. You don't have to do it perfectly. Just start seeing what works for you. 2, then be consistent. The more and more you do it consistently, the more confident you'll be. And then, number 3, you master it. You take some time to enjoy it. Most people forget this part. They tick it off their list and they move on to the next. But your ecosystem is built to be able to enjoy it. So enjoy the mastery that you have done. And then you'll find mastery improved other areas as well organically. It's great. I want to give you an example. I once had a client say to me that she wanted to walk once a week because it was critical to her physical and mental health. Amazing goal. 4 weeks in, I asked how that was going, and she replied that, oh, I didn't do it last week. Totally fine. We're in exploration mode. But she thinks that now she should do 2. Stop, I said. You can come back to me with 2 when you have mastered 1 walk a week for as long as it takes you to make this non-negotiable in your life. Then we can talk about the 2 walks. Depending on your personality type and current skill level, and obviously external world, can dictate the amount of time or how small you start. It really does vary from person to person. To be clear, I cannot stress enough how important it is to pick 1 small thing and master it. Ready to take some action? Let's do some practical. Welcome back to our last practical session. On page 10, there is some action step guide. You can use this or a piece of paper. But 1, choose your thing that you want to change. 2, write down your goal and how it feels when you get there. We are emotional based beings. Write what's changed for you with mastery of this skill. 3, break down the steps to get there. Here's an example. Let's say you've chosen connection as your area of growth and boundaries, and you know that you have the one thing is a toxic and unhealthy relationship with your parent. Now, you're going to pick the one thing you can handle working on. So let's just say it's your mum. Work on standing up verbally to your mum when she puts me down, because I deserve to be treated with kindness and supported. The mastery of skill feels like empowered knowing when and how to stand up for myself and communicate confidently, showing myself respect by not allowing someone to emotionally hurt me. That's the goal. And then we fill in the steps in between. Identify what really hurts and that triggers me. It's time for exploration, research, some ways that you may able to communicate your boundaries. Practice saying that phrase and then try saying it to mum when she's hurting my feelings and see what happens. Reduce time spent with mum maybe. Continue to explore new ways that may work. You will see this is developing skill number 4 and 5, but will also increase your confidence in 3 and 2. You'll even notice the outcome is not to stop mum saying hurtful things, because you can't control her. It's to build your skills on how you handle it and not allow it to keep happening, so you feel empowered rather than disempowered. And again, you'll notice that organic growth within boundaries in other areas as it flows into your world and really, really makes you feel great. I think it sounds so simple, but I really want you to focus on the exploration. It doesn't have to be perfect. I really want you to see how good it feels to explore things and what you can do. Then I want you to be consistent. And once you've mastered that and you do really feel confident in yourself, you can move on to other areas of growth that may need addressing in maybe this area, or maybe something new has come up for you. Maybe it's opened a door to something else to focus on. Remember, if you are feeling stuck setting a plan, maybe you're not sure where to start, or you'd like me to personally just review your plan that you've put in place, then support is always available. You can jump on a free 20-minute clarity coaching session with me via my calendar below. I'd love to have a chat with you and see what's going on. I'd love to hear more about your story and where you want to be moving forward. So if that's something that you would like support with, just reach out. But for now, thank you so much for joining me on this training. I hope you have found it insightful and helpful, and hopefully I'll get to hear about your story. Please send me an email with any feedback or anything that you've been able to accomplish using this training. And I really, really look forward to hearing about your success. Take care, and I will see you in lots of other training you can find on my website.